Welcome aboard to another culinary journey that'll have your dishes soaring. Today we're preparing a bone broth rich in vitamins, minerals, and savory goodness without the high price tag or additives. With this recipe, you'll never want to reach for a canned or boxed broth again. We're making a beef bone broth with a nourishing twist right in the Instant Pot. But if you prefer a slower approach, simply adjust the cook time for a stovetop experience that delivers the same wholesome results. You can also adapt this technique using chicken, turkey, lamb, or pork. I began with my favorite technique, caramelizing an onion, and once it began to soften, I added my seasoned beef bones. These still had enough meat for seasoning and browning, but if you can't find a bone with enough meat, it's quite all right. Because with larger bones, you can coat the bone with a thin layer of oil and then season with a little salt, pepper, or your favorite seasonings, and roast in an oven or on a grill. Now back to this technique. After my onions softened, I added my seasoned beef with bones and browned the meat for a deep flavor. Now this part takes some finesse, but don't worry. The key is finding the perfect browning without burning. Just keep some filtered water on hand for deglazing so that when every bit of flavor is right where you want it, you will be ready. Now just a quick note here, the caramelizing of an onion and the basics for creating a broth are discussed in my homemade vegetable broth video. If you missed it, check the link in the description. That recipe will give you gallons of flavorful vegetable broth for pennies. I did use 2 pots for that one, but today we're keeping it simple with 1 pot, and because my husband needed it quickly, we're using the Instant Pot. Now I didn't want to cut this part out of the video because I want to demonstrate what I mean about getting to the right point where you brown the meat without burning. Just like browning a pot roast, you kind of want to brown a little longer than you feel comfortable with, because if you stop browning too soon, you'll end up with a coloring that is kind of blah and unappealing. But if you go too far, you'll burn it. Now it can sometimes take practice, but once you're happy with the color of your browned meat, add about a cup of water to your pot and scrape the bottom to release all that rich flavor. That will then be infused into your broth. The bone stays in to add collagen, amino acids, and minerals that will help support your skin, joints, and digestion. Now, as I mentioned in the Easy Broth video, you can also make seafood broth in the same manner. You just won't need to caramelize an onion because you don't need any color, but you can add fish and other seafood scraps and vegetables and herbs. The reason I season my vegetable and meat broths is that when I just want to get hydration and minerals and I can't get to solid food, these broths taste great alone. For those of us who fly for a living, the recipes I show are to provide a taste of home while we're away for a few days. It does get pretty expensive to eat out for a 4-day trip, and that's not to mention that there are several times when we get to hotels or airports with limited food options, if at any at all, because of our crazy hours. Once you scrape all the goodness from the bottom of the pot, add a couple of cups of water and then add more nutrients. Toss in your vegetables and herbs to amp up the flavor and enhance your broth with vitamins. You can use fresh veggies too. Here's a side tip. When I haven't had frozen scraps on hand, I have prepped other dishes that I will include in my meal so that I could use those scraps in my broth. Now fill your Instant Pot with water just below the max fill line, secure the lid, and select the stew setting. Now we're cruising for a minimum of 45 minutes. Until it's time for landing. If you prefer a richer flavor, 4 hours is a good maximum amount of time to use in a pressure cooker. When our 45 minutes are up, we release the pressure, strain your broth, and store it for future recipes. Whether refrigerated or frozen, and yes, the bone adds a little extra magic for those who like to keep things rich. This video is aimed to inspire. Make it your own with familiar ingredients. From rice to beans, soups to sauces and gravies, your new bone broth will add layers of flavor. It's a small change that makes big results to your favorite dishes and will give you a taste of home while you're flying. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. I know you have many travel meal prep channels that you can watch, and I thank you for watching mine.